She's trying.
Entertainment news today. You're such a dragon gay. Everything sucks and it's no good. That comes out of Hollywood. But there's one place you can go to get all your news and info, and maybe even have a laugh or two. You know it's true. Midnight Edge after dark is life. We'll stand for nerds and geeks, we will survive. From Star Wars to Jurassic Park, it's Midnight Edge after dark. But MEAD never stops. We will keep going through the night as we keep up the culture fight. Midnight's Edge after dark is life. We stand for nerds and geeks, we will survive. From Star Wars to Jurassic Park, it's Midnight's Edge after dark.
Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the one and only Midnight's Edge After Dark, your favorite show on the YouTubes, whether you like it or not. I am Tom Connors. I'm your host, and we have Six with us tonight. How are you doing, Six?
I'm doing wonderfully. It's almost Halloween. 2 more weeks. I'm so excited.
This is Halloween.
I hate that movie.
Still gotta get my decorations up.
You don't like that movie? Yeah.
I don't like that movie.
No. Is it the music or is it just the whole thing?
Everything about it. The fact that Christmas is in the title.
Mm.
Yeah, I know. But hello, everybody. Hello.
Hi.
Froze because you said you don't like the movie.
I know. It's just not, it doesn't. I like Halloween movies, not.
Oh no,
almost.
I love
Not
that movie
those-
because of
Yeah.
the combination of the two holidays.
Hey, you get to watch it both times.
That's right.
I unfollowed a Halloween account on X today because they post, and their name of their handle is, I think it's Halloween Verse,
Okay.
and they posted something about Mariah Carey starting to defrost, and I was like, I'm out.
Doing what?
That's too
All
soon.
Halloween. It's too soon. Yeah.
Too soon.
Oh, the
No, I'm
whole
done.
right. Oh, I know what you're talking
All
about.
I want
Yeah.
for Christmas.
Yeah.
Nobody-
I hate that. As
No
much
one
as
should-
I love Christmas, that should not be celebrated before Halloween.
Nobody should be able to do anything with Christmas, whether it be songs or lights or trees or anything, until
Don't even-
December the 1st at the earliest.
Right. I
At
love.
least the day after
I'll say the
Thanksgiving.
day after
yeah.
Thanksgiving, Black Friday for me. I start.
No,
on
make them
Black
wait till
Friday.
December.
I love
saying,
broccoli.
I start on Black Friday.
I love broccoli, and I love Laffy Taffy. I'm not going to mix the two. I'm going to keep them completely separate, totally far apart. I adore Christmas.
That's
Don't
fair.
get me wrong, but let's just do Halloween.
I agree.
That is kind of fair.
Strongly.
I love the movie though, so I mean, I reject your hypothesis at the same time.
And I respect that because you also love Halloween 3, which big thumbs down. That's okay. I forgive you because I love Jaws, so that's
The
okay.
thing is, Halloween 3 is not
Those
a
is
bad
good.
movie. It's just not the Michael Myers series. If
Right.
it had a different title, I feel like it would have a lot more respect.
It was just Season of the Witch, John Carpenter's Season of the Witch, or John Carpenter Presents Season of the Witch.
It should have been
We'd never
that.
be having this conversation.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, that other voice you hear is Nick Weiser. How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing pretty good.
Or
Mr.
I'm
Tom
sorry, I
Thomas.
forgot your intro.
Nick.
Nickelodeon. I'm doing pretty good though. Happy to be here. Happy to be with you dudes and lady and our exquisite chat. And yeah, I'm looking forward to Halloween. Kids and I went to a pumpkin patch. It was really fun. I got.
Did you see the Great Pumpkin?
Oh, actually, there was a cool big ass pumpkin by us, and then those things you use for your hands to like make like the I don't know how to describe
Gloves?
it. No. Here, I'm gonna put it in your private. I'm gonna show it to you.
You're gonna put it in my private? What?
Boobies were made.
It's
for
okay.
us.
You wouldn't feel anything, Tom. Don't worry.
Oh wow!
I would think that Nick's got quite the hog between his legs.
What's
but,
this
Oh,
toothpick doing
it.
in my hand?
I found it. I'm
you
sticking
need
it
some
in.
tweezers?
Okay.
Is that what you're saying? Oh shit.
Okay, check your chat. This
Yeah,
is
so while you're
cool.
sending me that, okay, I got that. Okay. Well, let's also say hello to Brian. How you doing, Brian? It's been a
Hi,
while.
I'm doing pretty well, thanks. I've got the old excuse. My dog ate my homework. She just did literally eat my homework. She just snatched the notes off. Took them over.
Better than your urine sample, I guess.
Now click on the photo on the left.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have a life-size version of that, and I was like, I have to
It's
do a
pretty
photo.
shitting me.
telephone box.
Oh my god, it is Nick. It is totally Nick. I can tell.
That's me on the
It
left.
is, and there's
I
no
was like,
sign of
I
a
couldn't
package.
believe this exists. I'm like, girls, I need you to take a photo of Dad doing this, and they're so happy to take a photo of me like that. It was awesome. The
I
fact
can
that
see
like
the
that
resemblance.
exists life size, I was really happy. But yeah, got that pumpkin donut. There's a pumpkin donut. Sorry, no, apple cider donut shake too. Like I wanted to have 9 heart attacks. It was amazing.
Somebody
great
could have made
time.
a mold from that and made an anatomically correct Nick Weiser doll.
I didn't see any sign of a package there, Nick. So there's no hog. That's just a rumor.
Indeed.
That's
But hopefully you're
ingredient.
doing well, Brian, and I'm glad you're here. At least we have somebody from the musical realm to talk today because we did have a huge loss today, actually.
We
So I'm
did.
glad
This
somebody's
is-
here.
I have to say, at the age that I'm getting to, and all my classic rock guys are getting to, they're dropping like flies at the moment.
Everyone is dying.
Everyone's like,
Everyone
yeah.
is
So there's
dying.
Ace going, and I mean, I was never the world's biggest Kiss fan, but I did like his cover of New York Groove, which was a pretty damn good record, I thought.
I didn't
But-
even know it was a cover.
It's a cover, yeah. It's
I
just
found
whatever-
out later in life, but I mean, I didn't know at the time.
Yeah, some obscure British band did the original. But I think
Of course they did. That's why you
Russ,
know it.
It might have been written by Russ Ballard. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's that's a big one. I have to say, that is a big one.
That is what she said.
That's
It
what she
is.
said. Not
But
about
no,
Nick.
Ace Frehley was a legend, and he was probably arguably the most famous of the group outside of the group, right? Because he was known as a guitarist, and he was kind of a musician of sorts, wouldn't you say? Oh, of course, he's got his Brian's got
Hang on a
stuff
sec.
over there. Yeah, no problem. But yeah, Nick and Six. I don't know if you guys are Nikki Six. I don't know if you guys are
Real
fans
good.
of Kiss, but I mean, I grew up a big fan of Kiss, and Ace Frehley, of course, is kind of the bad boy of the group, whatever you want to call it. It's too bad. I mean, he was a huge talent, great guitarist. I mean, I don't know if he would have had a different career had he started out not with Kiss, but it almost feels like that overshadowed his later career, perhaps. But I'm curious, Six, are you a fan of Kiss at all? And
Yes.
you know,
Like a vague fan of Kiss, but a big enough fan. I think I sang Beth when we did karaoke one night.
there you go. Yeah.
But yeah, I remember being a kid and laying on the carpet, listening to the record album, the red one, which was that. I'm not even going to pretend that I know the title of it, but I just remember that the record itself was red. And I remember laying on the carpet in the living room, looking at the album cover and being like, just like, wow, because as a kid, that was something that wasn't part of my normal daily, seeing their costumes and their face makeup and just being like, wow, this is so weird, but like
Right.
really enjoying the music. So, but yeah, that's too bad. I heard that he, from a head injury, a fall, suffered a
Oh shit, I didn't
fall
hear
or
that.
something.
Yeah, he was in
Was
the
that the
ICU
case?
with
Holy shit.
brain. He was like brain dead or in a
He had a
coma
brain
or something,
bleed and he was on
Yeah.
life support.
unfortunately.
Well, that's
So,
too bad. I didn't even know that. That's too bad. Well, it explains why he was so young at the time of his passing here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's no spring chicken, but 51 to 25. That's what, 70,
He's not 74, I think he was.
74.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is not that old, really. But I mean, I wasn't, as I say, I wasn't the world's
Yeah, he's not much
biggest-
older than my old man. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Brian.
I wasn't the world's biggest Kiss fan myself, but I did see them live in 1980 at Stafford Bingley Hall, and I have to say it is one of the greatest shows I'd ever seen in my life, or still to this day I've ever seen. Even not being a huge fan, you couldn't help but be impressed with the show. It was incredible. So, and that's that's such a good lineup, of course, at that time. So yeah, it's a shame, because he wasn't 74 isn't old, but
Right.
And they were
yeah, and
they
to go
were
out like this
ve-
is sad. Yeah.
and they were very influential. You can't, even I, I'm not a big fan, can't deny how
Right.
influential they were, particularly on the
and-
more glam side of metal,
Yeah.
So, yeah, and they were actually, I mean, Ace was one of the guys that in Kiss they all did. They all encouraged a lot of other acts, and you were very good to a lot of other acts to bring them into their tours, like Cheap Trick and other bands, and support them and promote them. So they actually were really good at
Right.
bringing on other bands, which I appreciated.
Well, like I said, Ace was kind of the musician's musician of the group in a way, right? At least that's my understanding, because he was like the
Yeah,
hell of a guitarist or whatever. And I mean,
I would say so. From my point of view, he was the best
Yeah.
of the bunch. But I'm not a huge Kiss fan.
probably as far as talent wise, yeah, you're probably right. I would agree. Nick, I mean, with your new metal channel, is this something that's going to be a topic this week? Are you a big Kiss fan at all?
I don't feel like I'm big enough of a fan to qualify talking about it. Now, I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan. Like, I like them. Now, outside of their hits, the only album I've heard proper, which I actually really enjoy, was the Destroyer album. I thought
Yeah.
that was a really killer album. And that's honestly the only album I've ever heard in its entirety, which I thought was really good. Other than that, I've only heard the hits. I saw them live once in 2013 on a co-headliner with Def Leppard. It was a pretty good show. I had a good time, but I am definitely very well aware of how influential they are to a lot of the bands that I love. There's no denying that at all. Like, that's just the hard facts of life. Like, I would read tons and tons and tons of interviews with bands talk about how, oh yeah, blast Kiss records. I mean, you name it, whether it was Kerry King and Jeff Hanneman, Slayer, didn't matter if it was Dave Mustaine in Megadeth, it didn't matter if it was Scott Ian in Anthrax, didn't matter if it was Eric Peterson, Testament. All these guys love Kiss. Dimebag Darrell and Pantera. Everyone was a big Kiss fan, and a lot of those guys wore makeup. A lot of people did Kiss tribute bands. A lot of them did Kiss cover bands. Even guys who already had successful bands loved Kiss so much they started side projects around Kiss. And then, of course, Kiss is
Right.
the band that has their merch on anything and everything. They were the Buckies of being in a band for merchandise before Buckies. And respect to Gene Simmons for doing it. Hey, if you can do it, go for it, man. And yes, thank you, Hunter. I was just about to say Dimebag was buried in a Kiss casket. That's the way he always wanted to be buried, in a Kiss casket.
Wow. Is he one of the only people who ever bought one? I doubt it, but yeah.
Oh, those things actually sold pretty damn well.
I was going to say, because it's
I
funny when I was.
I have a buddy of mine who's a pretty big Kiss fan, and my brother
Mhm.
actually met Gene Simmons once as
Oh,
well.
wow.
He bought his book, and he did a signing at a Borders, if you remember Borders bookstore.
Oh yeah.
He did a signing, and that was cool that he went. He did it for free. You just as long as you got the book, whether it was bought in advance or at the event, as long as you had a copy, he was cool with that.
Trouble with the casket is you can only use it once.
Ah,
It's got no,
Oh.
you don't get a lot of value out of it otherwise.
Unlike the
that's how big-
condoms.
Yeah, that's how big Kiss fans are. Like they'll things that they'll never even use, as long as it's got the name on it. But
Mm,
Ace Frehley is obviously a good guitar player. The dude can
he was
shred.
good.
He's a good songwriter, and for what I've heard of the hits and the Destroyer album, it's clear the guy was a master of hooks. That is
Well,
not
he
even
was
up
a
You
for-
said
great
you know the hits, but do
appreciator.
you know the smashes and thrashes, though?
He was a
He wasn't on that album. That's
no,
bad.
he wasn't. He
No,
was a
I
great
don't know that
appreciator
album.
of music himself, because he was really into a lot of power pop and hard rock and glam rock stuff. he was an Anglophile. He liked a whole lot of really cool material, and he did cover some of that. So he liked a lot of the material I like too.
Yeah,
So,
no,
he was a good
Yeah.
guitar player.
it's a shame that he is gone, but he left a hell of a legacy on
He did.
everyone. It don't matter if you were death metal, it don't matter if you're Scandinavian black metal, thrash, obviously the original new wave of British. Everyone and their mother was influenced by Kiss. The same way you could even say with Ozzy and Black Sabbath or Maiden and Priest. They were just one of those bands.
Yep, hugely influential and famous. I mean, Destroyer was the only album that really made it in Britain before.
Was it?
Yeah, their albums didn't sell well. They were not that
Interesting.
well known in Britain until Kiss
Yeah.
Alive. So Destroyer
okay.
Destroyer was the only one I really knew of in the mid-70s when I was a young lad. They were a bit more successful later in the MTV era, became more prominent in Britain. But they themselves liked a lot of British bands and were in quite good terms with guys like Slade and so on. So they, they were still known.
Were they
They just
Budgie fans? Were there Budgie
I
fans?
think they probably were Budgie fans.
Yeah.
Great Welsh proto metal band.
Yeah. Hey,
Great
there's your
band.
idea for that. Is it metal or is it not? So there's your first.
Well, indeed,
band.
Budgie would be one of the. Is it metal or is it not?
See, there you go.
That's
We just
right.
discussed an idea for your video now. Now we got to get it recorded.
If anyone's not out there is at all interested in proto metal from Wales in the 70s, look up Budgie. One of the heaviest bands you've never heard of.
Straight up. Well, that's what brought Lars Ulrich and Dave Mustaine together was their love of Budgie.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
influential. So it's a big name. It's sad,
Yeah.
74 is not super old, So
Yeah, it's not quite culture old.
no, it's not. It's not culture old.
No, he's about 20, 30 years younger than Culture. Who are you
Yeah.
kidding?
Yeah.
Although Culture's Weave would have fitted in very well, I think, in a
No,
version of
Culture's
Kiss.
Weave alone is adds another 50 years.
But yeah, New York Groove was a great cover he did. So it was Ross Ballard that wrote it. who
I'm
wrote,
sorry, you're asking about what now?
eh? What?
What?
This call is about your Medicare benefits. I believe you do have Medicare Part A and B, right?
Get the cock out of your mouth. Maybe I can understand what the fuck you're saying.
Tom's just got a spam call.
He hung up.
I was just about to mute you. I thought, does he know?
I'm sorry, Brian. That was rude of me, but I love doing
it's
that.
all right.
to
But yeah, New
callers.
York Groove. If you've nobody's heard the solo Ace Frehley album and the hit New York Groove from it. It's originally written by Russ Ballard, who wrote "God Gave Rock and Roll to You" and "Since You've Been Gone" and many other great songs, and was originally done by a band called Hello. So, but Ace did the best cover of it, I think. I mean, a lot of bands have covered that song. I think he did the best. T-Bud.
Hey, I know how
So they
to
always
be
do. They
hung
hang
up
up on
on. I know. Hey, we called. Was it what Charles Bronson movie where we talk about on Toxic Tuesday, where I called the phone number that they mentioned in the movie and they hung up on me.
And somebody hung up on you. They answered, and somebody.
They answered too. I couldn't believe
Is
they
it 10 to
actually answered.
midnight or
Just
10
10,
to
yeah,
midnight?
it's 10 to
10 to
midnight.
midnight, yeah.
We actually called the phone number, like, oh, I wonder if this phone number is still real from 40 years ago. We called it, and someone actually responded.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh.
while you were live, you called it?
Yeah.
Yes, and I got answered, and they hung up. Yeah,
I
that's
just
funny.
wanted to know. It was from 40 years ago. When you see
You
stuff
see,
like that, you're like,
I could
I
could
got
believe-
bi curious.
I could believe it was D-Bud that was calling you Tom because he usually does have a cock in his mouth.
Oh, my. Well, Ace will be missed before we get too deep into
He
He
the.
will
Laws
be. I
of
wonder what
Mexican coke.
has there been any reaction from the other Kiss?
Offhand, I
Guys.
don't know because I've been editing a video all afternoon, so I haven't looked. I actually just heard about this just before the show.
Oh,
like
did you really?
when I posted it on X, that's when I had heard about it.
Me too. I
Damn.
heard
And
about
the
it.
first thing I immediately did was tell my best friend because he's like one of the world's biggest Kiss fans, or at least he used to be. But like I know like Kiss fans there's a ton of them, and when they are fans, they are fanatics. Like I remember looking up houses one day, and this one guy had like one of the biggest Kiss collections I've ever fucking seen in my life, and I'm just sitting here going, "Does that shit come with the house?" Because like, geez, it's just like the whole house was plastered in Kiss shit.
Oh, they had fanatical fans. Like
There's
really-
a statement. This from Variety. His longtime bandmates Kiss's Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons wrote in a statement, "We are devastated by the passing of Ace Frehley. He was an essential and irreplaceable rock soldier during some of the most formative, foundational chapters of the band in its history. He is and will always be a part of Kiss's legacy. Our thoughts are with Jeanette, Monique, and all those who loved him, including our fans around the world."
Okay, that's a nice statement. Yeah, I mean, they had occasionally got together for various things. I know there was a lot of bad blood back in the day, but they got over that, I think. So
Yeah. Paul and Gene were kind of the mainstays, but Ace
yeah,
and Peter kind of always had kind of ins and outs with Gene and Paul. Mostly Gene, I'm assuming. If I had to take a wild shot in the dark, but
mostly
yeah.
yes.
But no, like I said, Ace was kind of the one that was kind of the star child of the group. He was kind of seen as the real talent, I guess, if you want to
Pretty
call it
flashy
that.
on stage. I mean, he was a
Absolutely,
good showman. Yeah, great showman. That gig was, I saw that was phenomenal. But yeah, it's another sad loss. You know, they've been, as I say, dropping like flies.
Yeah.
It's just getting to that time where
Well-
all these guys are in their 70s and 80s. It's just ironic. It wasn't age that killed him. Of course, he fell. I mean, it's just
That's what's sad about it.
yeah.
But I mean,
that's the
he's
sad
not the
part.
first member. He's not the first member of Kiss to die, but
No,
he is
of
the
course.
first original member of Kiss to die.
Mhm.
So that makes
That
it a
does
big
hit.
deal.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
No, Michael Sweet from Stryper said about 6 months ago in an interview. He said, it's a weird thought to think that within the next
You're right,
20
Sheriff Brackett. Sorry.
No, you're good. Within the next 20, 25 years, all these legends we know and love are most likely going to be
Oh,
gone.
yeah.
Most of, if not all of them. And I'm like, yeah, shit, he's right. Mr. Sweet is right on that. That's a scary thought, but yeah,
Yep.
this is why
It's my-
having successors is important.
It's my childhood and teenage years are all these guys are slipping away now. They're all going, you know. But that's the way of the world. That's the way it
Yeah.
is. But I think we remember. I like to celebrate their legacy and the music they left behind, and that more than to commiserate on their death. It's to celebrate their legacy because they all left behind something. These guys. So
Oh yeah. Between
that
all
we
the
can
albums
enjoyed forever.
Kiss did back in the day with Ace and all the albums he did after. I mean, he's got a huge catalog.
And the music is
listen to.
forever.
Yeah.
So
So he will be missed. And let's get into the super chat and see what you guys are saying. We got our lovely wrench goddess of whim coming in with $2. Thank you for that, goddess of whim, and all the help that you give us here at the channel. For clobbering time, she sends in some love. Thank you for that. We appreciate it. And then we got Action Com who sends in 5 and says trivia. Who did that Nickelodeon jingle? I believe it was Rockapella, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I think so. I like to think it is.
I think if I'm wrong, though, Action Com will let me know in a minute. Who do you guys think it is? Do you guys think it's
Cradle
Rockapella
of
or is it
Filth.
somebody else? Cradle of Filth. That sounds about right.
Oh, see, I thought it was Emperor. I thought it was Emperor or
I'm trying to think
Iron
of the
Maiden.
most outlandish person in the group that could have
Black
done that.
Sabbath, perhaps.
Oh, Sabbath would have
Because Ozzy's version was more like Nick.
Sabbath would have done a great version of it. They would have.
They're like,
done
we need it
justice.
faster, Ozzy. I can't focus sing any faster.
Okay, fine. Call Dio then. Dio can sing it fast.
No, it's not Rockapella, huh? So then who is it, Action Com? I guess we're all at a
I
loss
think
here.
it sounds like Barry White.
Is it Barry White? Can't
could
get enough
be.
of your Nickelodeon, babe.
It was
Oh,
Daryl
no,
Brewer
baby.
said it was an obituary.
You're my first.
Oh,
you're
I
my
wish it
last,
was an
my
obituary. I would straight up like unleash a load times 9 if it was obituary.
everything. Barry White, the sound of Philadelphia.
Okay, so if he's saying that, then that means it's somebody who we wouldn't expect it to be, right? So it's got to be.
Did anybody
So who's a
Google it?
musician who transitioned from? Oh, is it
There's
one
a
of the
few.
members of Devo or something like that? I'm trying to think of-
Wayne County transitioned into Jane County. Back in
There
the-
you go. That's not what I meant by transition. Oh, so it's no one famous. Then why would you ask us that? That's a trick question, motherfucker. Okay, Eugene Pitt, the lead singer of doo-wop group Jive 5. You got it up on all of us on that one, buddy,
I
because
was
there ain't no
listening to a
way.
bunch of doo-wop today. That's really
Because he
weird.
Googled it.
Maybe.
I Googled it and that came up the top result.
I was sitting here expecting it to be like the dude from Devo or something like that, because I'm trying to think of like some rocker who went into like kids music or something like that.
Mark Mothersbaugh, or whatever his name is. You're thinking.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? Who did like the Rugrats theme and shit like that.
He does a ton of themes, yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow, that being said, let's get into our first bit of news for the day. It seems that Netflix is starting to consider getting into the theatrical race, and they have a recent deal with AMC, which will bring K-pop Demon Hunters back in theaters over Halloween weekend.
Smart.
This time, Netflix movie is playing in AMC. So yes, this is an interesting story, and it also hints, it also hints at a possible future for theatrical release with Netflix. But as it puts here, Netflix and AMC have. Go ahead.
Was that the first time they'd ever done it with K-pop Demon Hunters? Or have they ever done it before?
I don't think so.
Sure,
I think
they
there's
must
been a
have done
couple
something
of things before, but not much. It's like they even did like the Lord of the Rings thing where they did like a theatrical thing. But like as far as like, I think this is the first time where a movie has premiered on Netflix and then went to theaters, if I'm not mistaken.
Could be. Yep.
Somebody correct me if I'm wrong there. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. Lord of the Rings was Amazon anyway. That's not even Netflix.
That's right.
For some reason, I think Netflix has done a couple things that may have been theatrical, but not many, if any. I'm trying to remember though. But anyhow, it says here Netflix and Amazon have often been at odds over windowing Exhibit A. A coast-to-coast wide release of Martin Scorsese's The Irishman never happened. Okay, so that's one of them I remember now. Yeah. That said, AMC did play Netflix's Knives Out. That's the other one I was trying to think of. There we go.
Okay.
During its limited Thanksgiving 2022 release, and that was a big success for him. And everybody asked at the time why Netflix wouldn't continue this model. An AMC theater spokesman had this to say: Netflix, the world's largest streaming service, and AMC Entertainment, the world's largest theater chain, have jointly decided to work together. So this is a big deal. Okay, so this new cooperation will start this Halloween weekend. AMC will show Netflix's most popular movie in history, K-pop Demon Hunters. It will play on approximately 400 AMC screens across theaters in the US and Europe. While two companies have not had commercial relationship in recent years, both Netflix and AMC are intrigued by the mutually beneficial opportunities that could rise from this and future collaborations. Now, this is a big deal because Netflix has never shown any real interest in theatrical release outside of the Knives Out thing and what we just mentioned here before that were mentioned in the article. And the other thing about this too is they've always said that they never would. So this is a big change. And I wonder if this is being brought on by like, say, the success of like the deal that happened with first F1 and then the success they had bringing K-pop out to theaters to begin with and the money that they probably saw that was brought into their company because of that. That's a direct feed of millions of dollars that they're probably not used to seeing all at once, right?
It's possible they're seeing a kind of a gap in the market given the crap content that's being put out by the traditional studios and the fact that Netflix, for all its faults, does have some good properties that it's made. Maybe they're just seeing it as an opportunity to make some cash they never thought they could in the past. You know?
Well, I think that this K-pop Demon Hunters, it seems to be kind of an outlier as far as what Netflix has created or produced and made, because it was such a huge phenomenon. You know, everybody was talking about it. Everybody was, you know, all kinds of different channels that I subscribe to, none of which I ever would have thought would be talking about K-pop, except for this channel. We're like doing renditions of the songs and doing little dances to it. And at first I was like, what is happening? And so I had to look into it and I was like, oh, it's this movie that somebody, I think it was Shinatsky, who told me that because I'm a Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan that I might like this movie. I think he was lying. He was just trying to get me into anime because it has nothing to do with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But is this going to be what's coming after this?
Slayer is in the title 6. I will point that out.
Okay. Yeah.
Just saying.
And I haven't seen the movie, but everything I've seen and heard about it, I don't see the correlation. But you know, what's next? What's their next?
That's a good question, 6. And I think
how are they going to top the K-pop thing? Because it was huge.
Right.
Well, they're going to have to make a second one then, aren't they?
Oh.
I think so. Well, that's the big question.
Even
There was some talk
it's
about
kind of wrapped up at the end, but
no, I can't. I was on WDW Pro earlier, and they were kind of talking a little bit about this, like this whole idea that the sequel was I think Sony owns the rights to the K-pop Demon Hunter thing. And I guess Sony wants to go directly to theaters first with the sequel. So I'm thinking Netflix wants in on this deal as part of that.
Probably, yeah.
And I think you guys are right. And, you know, I mean, honestly, I think where they missed on this is they should have put Happy Gilmore 2 in theaters.
Yeah, I agree.
For at least a month or so. Nick,
straight.
go ahead, because you and I both like the film.
Straight to theaters. Happy Gilmore 2. I don't know why they didn't is beyond me. And I think it's a good idea for K-pop for a sequel to do that, because I'll tell you what, man, kids were going gaga the same way they were about going to the theater for Minecraft. Kids want to go to a theater.
My grandkids are all
and that's good. It shows you once again, anytime you hear about this whole weird narrative that I don't know where it comes from, that kids don't want to go to a movie, this bullshit, bro. Yeah, they do. You gotta give them something that they actually want, and that shit took off, man. My kids love that movie. When we went to one of their friends' house for a play date, and they were all talking about that movie, and there was all the other kids there, and now I hear about it from other parents' friends, and all their kids love it too. And I'm like, clearly this thing is a big deal for this young generation. That's good, because they deserve things to call their own. How many times have I said on Midnight's Edge After Dark, this young generation needs a thing to call their own? Well, maybe we finally have at least one of the answers to that question. So having a sequel there would be good. It'd be good for Netflix too, because they could probably make a lot more money than just relying on subscribers as well. So I think this is a move for the best.
And I don't think it hurts the subscriber watches later. I don't think
it's not going. If it's good, it'll only enhance it, because they'll want to go back to it and keep on watching again and again. And a lot of kids were getting repeat viewings of K-pop Demon Hunters. So
my grandkids have watched it dozens of times.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah, no, regardless of how some of the adults feel about it, you gotta understand that they knew who their market was for that, and they catered to it, and it worked, and that's fine.
In theaters, I think,
but it doesn't have to be for me.
I mean, I think it's pretty good. I mean, for what it is, it's not my cup of tea, but it's a very good.
But you get why it lands.
Yes, absolutely. The songs are brilliant in it, if you like that kind of thing. And I could see in theaters, kids, but also teenagers, and I mean some adults going, and perhaps the big sing-alongs. Some dressing up. It could be a Rocky Horror-ish thing in places. And a lot of crowd participation. So I could see that happening.
What's nice too, because I did some homework on the K-pop Demon Hunters. It does have actually, shockingly, of all movies, it has a very positive message for young kids, which I've talked to parents hey, is this accurate? Who've the parents who have seen it, they're like, oh yeah, this is actually accurate. I'm like, it is. Wow. Between that and then what's going on with Bluey, I'm like, is positive messaging slowly back on the upswing again? I hope so.
There was nothing in K-pop Demon Hunters when I watched it that struck me as being the message or anything like that. It seemed like there were some really good storylines in it, things we haven't seen for a while. That could be the Korean. Fun? Yes.
Unlike Cuties?
World of difference, yeah.
Yeah, because here's my thing with Netflix is I'm not a big fan of them to begin with, but yeah, continue. Sorry, I just had to throw that in there.
I mean, I'm into Korean entertainment, but K-pop Demon Hunters wasn't necessarily my thing, but it did have the voice of Lee Byung-hun, who's a great Korean actor.
Say that 5 times fast.
Lee Byung-hun, Lee Byung-hun, Lee Byung-hun, Lee Byung-hun.
Who's Lee Byung-hun? What?
Right, Lee Byung-hun. Or Storm Shadow in the G.I. Joe movies.
Ah, there you go.
But
yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about this K-pop stuff. I'm not a huge fan of Netflix. I haven't had Netflix in years, other than when Cobra Kai was on, and then I canceled it afterwards. Beverly Hills Cop 4 sucked. I did get it, I think, for a month to watch Happy Gilmore 2, if I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong, 6. I think you'd probably remember better than me.
I remember talking about that. You did.
Yeah, so I did, yes.
Or
so
you
there
borrowed
you go. So
somebody's code or something.
one of the two, or actually, no, I know how. I didn't. I watched it through other means. You are correct. Yes. Okay. So I have not had it since Cobra Kai.
I think my cue to go is barking in the background.
Go, yeah.
And she's activated my shock collar.
Well, you're one of the only
Oh,
people here who
sure.
knows anything about K-pop, so I'm glad you did stick around through that, and of course the Ace Frehley
Well, I
business
don't
and stuff like that.
really
but
know
yeah.
much about K-pop other than the fact
Well,
that
your
I
grandkids do,
like
you said.
Korean movies and TV, but my grandkids told me about this one, and I watched it with them, and it was actually a lot more enjoyable than I imagined.
Hmm.
And I quite liked it, and the songs are pretty good, but I still think the boys had the better songs than the girls. I'm sorry. The Saja boys, they were the best. It's a pity they're the baddies, but never mind. But other Korean stuff, I can tell you all about that at any time you want. But yeah, I gotta go.
Ladies?
Sorry.
The ladies, you like Korean ladies?
Well, some of them, yes. Some of them are very, very nice, very attractive. Some of the guys are pretty handsome too. Hyunbin, guys like that, very handsome. Quality entertainment though, so one must depart, I'm afraid. So I hope you guys all have a great evening. Thank you for having me, Tom. Goodbye to everyone in the chat, and I'll see you all again soon.
What's going on with your hockey show with Brahmable?
Every 2 weeks. We're doing every 2 weeks. Bourbon and boarding, we did one last Saturday. We're only going to do every 2 weeks now, so we can provide a better experience, and we're lazy.
At least you're honest.
No, we're going to do it. There's too many other commitments. So every second week for bourbon and boarding. So there was one last Saturday, which means not this Saturday, but there will be one the week after. So if anyone's into hockey, join us for that. Check out Brahma or my channels for information on it. And go Stars.
I'm not a hockey fan at all, but I've always enjoyed it when I listen to it.
And I'm very pleased that you've been there. And you're welcome to join us on the show and
I appreciate
ask
that.
us questions and tell us how ridiculous we are.
It's good conversation.
It is. We have fun. It's a small crowd that watch. It's we start 9:15 p.m. Mountain Time every second Saturday, but we have a lot of laughs and show some nice clips of fights. Usually, fights are always the fun part.
Yeah.
And anyone's into hockey, check out my show that I did on Monday about the movie Goon, which we should do on Toxic Tuesday, Nick, because it's a very toxic movie.
I agree. I am
Yes.
surprised we haven't done that one sooner, but I guess that leaves it, up for doing soon.
I'm being told I gotta go. So good night, everybody.
Okay,
Bye,
get
Brian.
out of here. He slid out. Okay, I think Tom is.
See you, Brian. Then we got Soul Nightmare, who says, sell Netflix to networks, Smiter Flicks to networks. Yeah, these guys, I tell you. So yeah, there's another rumor going around, speaking of Netflix, that they're eyeballing Warner Brothers again. And people think that they may be serious about it because of this whole AMC theater thing, which I'm not going to say that makes more sense to me than Ellison coming in and trying to pull some hostile takeover of Warner Brothers. Because Netflix has the money. And if they wanted to plug into theaters and compete with Amazon, what better way to say, oh, look at your piddly little MGM you just bought. Guess what we just bought?
Mhm.
Warner Brothers. And better yet, we own all the fucking movies you lost, bitches.
They'll just whip it out, slap it on the table.
Yeah,
How you like
because
now?
for those who don't know, and this is what I think is funny about the whole MGM thing over at Amazon, I think Bezos didn't realize what he was buying, just like with Lord of the Rings. I think he thought he was getting all of the MGM movies, including like the big favorites like Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind and all that kind of stuff. And then he found out, no, he only gets like Rocky, RoboCop, and some of the latter stuff because all the pre-1976 and anything that wasn't United Artists or whatever, Ted Turner bought back in the day. So he owns all those until Warner Brothers bought, soaked him up and conglomerated. Now they own them all. So that's kind of hilarious in that part. So I think he didn't realize that. And then he also found out, and the reason I think that's because I'm sure he also realized that, oh, we don't own Bond either. We just own distribution rights. And that's why he paid that cool $1 billion to Barbara Broccoli, which is well more than what they paid for MGM to begin with. From what I know, I don't think they paid that much for it. Maybe I'm wrong, but somebody correct me. I don't even remember how much they paid for it. I don't think it was very much. So in the end of the day, though, like this is where they're sitting. And, one of their other franchises is actually Rocky, believe it or not, as I brought up here just a second ago. And I don't know if Warner Brothers is going to be able to buy, or Netflix is going to buy Warner Brothers or not, but there's one thing I know about Rocky. Did you guys see the first images from the set of I Play Rocky?
No.
A movie we brought up here for a few weeks or months ago back.
No,
Anthony,
I did not.
Anthony Ippolito is Sylvester Stallone, and I play Rocky. So basically, what this is about, it's a movie about the making of the movie Rocky. I'm really looking forward to this.
I don't know how I feel about this.
He looks like young Stallone. Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
Looks like Bruce Springsteen.
A little bit, but I see Stallone in there. Well, there you go.
It looks okay. It's not bad. It looks like
Got mom
somebody's
jeans
not-
on.
Well, yeah, but there are a lot of dudes that were wearing those type of jeans back in the day, so I'm not
That's
gonna
true,
fault them
that's
for
true.
that. I'm more interested in the young Bela Lugosi flick than I am about a Sylvester. How you not sound like Sylvester Stallone while trying to do the Rocky voice?
I think there's a way to do this. Have you guys seen The Offer?
No,
No.
I tried it
Okay.
and it wasn't for me.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's about the making of The Godfather, and I
Yeah.
loved it. I fucking loved it, and that's why I think I'm going to love this, because this feels like it probably is going to be similar. You can do it. The people in The Offer did a really great job, especially the guy who played Marlon Brando and the guy who played Al Pacino, of not doing impressions of those two, but still making you feel like they were those people. I mean, their voices weren't like doing the typical, Marlon Brando impression. I mean, he did do a voice, but it wasn't that. So it was like, I think there's a way to do it. And I mean, and Sylvester Stallone, when he talks, he doesn't sound like Rocky, right? Like, I mean, he sounds closer to some of his more normal characters. Rocky, he's really playing up the dumbbell aspect, right? Like, he's really playing the doofus, or I hate, a boxer who's been punched too many times, basically.
Yeah. I'm gonna need a really strong trailer to convince me that, or hey Nick, please see this so we can talk about it in MEAD. Either I'm gonna need a strong trailer or that for me to see this, because in isolation, the idea of this doesn't really interest me. But
I'm kind of surprised to hear
I've been
that,
wrong.
Nick, is it because
Stallone
of
is
the?
still alive? I don't need. Go ahead, Six.
Is it? Are you not as interested because of the movie that they're doing, or just the whole premise of making a movie about the making of a movie?
Both.
Because I think if they made a movie about the making of Jaws, that would be.
I would
amazing.
actually be more interested in that, but I don't want this to become like another fad where now we're making movies out the making of movies, because it's just, once again, we know what we're doing with 800 sequels is not working. We know that the remakes are not working. So let's just go now do makings of those movies, but make a movie out of that. It just
Nick,
delays the inevitable of not trying to make new ideas.
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from, but I disagree in a sense that I wish this was a series like The Offer, because that's where I feel like you can really dive into these things and really get into the minutia of it all. Because they do have interesting stories. Like, I agree with you, Six. Like, to me, I can't believe Paramount hasn't done a follow-up to The Offer yet. It felt like they were almost setting up 2 or 3 possible spin-offs on that. Because you got Francis Ford Coppola, who goes on to Godfather 2 and Apocalypse Now. You could do Jaws, like we brought up. You could do Star Wars. I think I may even mentioned Rocky at some point, because for those who don't know, the hitch of the story, I'm sure, is the fact that Sylvester Stallone wrote this movie out of desperation. And when he tried to sell it, he could have sold it for a good amount of money, but he refused to let anybody else play Rocky. And that's why the title is I Play Rocky, because that was a deal he made, and he took next to nothing so he could play Rocky, right? Like, he turned down, I think it was like $50,000, and only took like $20,000 or $30,000 instead, just so he could play Rocky, right? It was just, maybe it was even more than that. I think it was like 70. It could have been 75. Somebody correct me in the chat. It's been a while since I watched Making of Rocky or anything like that to where I can remember. But I know it was a huge difference in price. So he took a huge pay cut on what he could have made off just selling the story, just so he could play the role, because he was that convinced that this was what he needed to get to be a movie star. And he was right. He was 100% right. This movie made him a fucking star. It was one of the, people, unless you were alive in the 70s, you might not even realize how big this movie was. And Sylvester Stallone being nominated, and the movie getting all the nominations and winning Best Picture and all that kind of stuff, like that kind of stuff was like unheard of for a movie like this kind of at the time. And it really kind of reformed how you could do a sports film. Is what I'm trying to say. Like, Raging Bull wouldn't have happened without Rocky. Martin Scorsese says that all the time, right? It's because of Rocky, he knew he could do a serious movie like that. And Rocky did kind of take its character seriously, and it wasn't just a goof along. And the studios wanted like Robert Redford or somebody like that, and I don't, or Paul Newman probably, or whoever at the time. It just wouldn't have been the same damn movie, right? Like, I don't think it would have worked any other way. And I see where you're coming from, Nick. This is not if you're somebody who's not into the making of movies, it's probably not your cup of tea. But to me, I'm one of those people, like Six just brought up with Jaws, where I know there's tons of movies where the story about the making of the movie are just as interesting or even more interesting than the movies themselves.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the making of The Godfather is a great example of that too, because of the shit that they went through to get that thing made. Right.
See,
like even Francis Ford Coppola said, like, I've had the making of The Godfather was bad days and bad days. There was no good day.
So
anyway, you're saying, go ahead.
There's a half
something,
truth.
Nick. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I feel like the line between making a documentary about the making of a movie is so much more interesting to me than this kind of, I don't know if you would call it like a dramatization of the making of a movie. And as far as, I would not want to see a movie about how Star Wars was made. I'd rather set my hair on fire, but I'm too close to Star Wars to want to be interested in that. And
That's
I don't
fair.
know anything about how Rocky was made enough to know if that's something that might be interested in me.
Well,
to
I'm
me.
history.
I read about Jaws, how Jaws was made, because I was reading a biography decades ago about Steven Spielberg, and there was probably a whole chapter devoted to Jaws, and I was like, it was just fascinating. So that's why I know that a Jaws movie would be interesting.
So there's truth to there's some truth to what you said, Tom, how I feel, but I do like watching the making of things. That's why I was a big owner of DVDs and the special features. I like them there, not as a full-fledged movies. I like my half-hour, 40-minute side features of the making of the movies, well, made by the people who actually made the movie. I'm kind of worried about this becoming a thing where now we make series of movies around this idea. I'm sure I'll eventually see a few, and I'll even admit I may even like a few. But for me, it comes back to my original complaint. It just continues to delay the inevitable of trying to make original stuff rise, so we can continue to find new ways of relying on the past. I love the past.
Okay.
I love where I came from, but I try not to obsess on being nostalgic because, well, everything I love at some point was new too. And we got to make way for other things. If we don't, when?
That's a fair assessment, but I mean, I guess maybe these are my guilty pleasures. Biopic type things usually are, especially when they're about musicians or movie stars or movies themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Hitchcock one I love. And I know that didn't even get that much praise and a lot of people disliked it, but like, I'm just a sucker for those things. I am. And I love things like The Late Show, like with, or The Late Shift or whatever it was called. The one with about David Letterman and Jay Leno getting the spot on the Carson show. So like I love movies like that. I for some reason I always have. And one of my other favorite films about Hollywood is the making of the Citizen Kane movie with Liev Schreiber, where he plays Orson Welles. Like, I mean, and I know a lot of it's bullshit and or amalgamized or puffed up or however you want to put it. Kind of like with The Offer, right? The Offer is amazing. Like, I get it if it's not your cup of tea. Six gave it a shot. She didn't get into it. But if you're somebody who might get into something like that, this Rocky movie, I think, might be up your alley if that's what they're going to do. Because to me, I like those kind of stories. And I think it's interesting to kind of show what they're like. I love, like, one of my favorite movies of the last year was that Saturday Night Live movie.
See,
I know
that actually kind of interests me. That actually is more
281,
interesting to me. That one's actually more interesting to me than a Sylvester's a Rocky movie with someone else playing Rocky Balboa. I mean, I get it; he's 75 years old or whatever.
Right.
But I don't know why the concept of Saturday Night Live interests me more, even though I like Sylvester Stallone more. I know that's ironic, but
that's the thing. It's Sylvester Stallone, right? It's not Rocky. It's not. I get what you're saying. It's technically not a Rocky movie, and I totally agree with, like, this is like just another step, into the puddles of, are we really doing anything original?
Yes.
To me, I think that is kind of a gray area, because you are kind of doing something original by making a biopic, and then it's up to you to make it entertaining. Right?
I agree with that. I do agree with that. Go on.
And I'm just saying, like, I think, to me personally, like, I think there is a space for that in the genre of biopics.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an overlooked space that I would rather see than some of the other ones that we're beginning as of late, like the product biopic. At least with these movie things, it feels like it's a little bit more like entertaining and I mean, I'm not going to put things down. Like I loved The Founder, right? But I don't need, and I was one of the only people who loved the Pop-Tart movie.
What?
Oh yeah, that did come out. I forgot all about.
And I still
that.
haven't seen the Flaming Cheetos movie and a couple of the other ones, but this is more of an epidemic, Nick, than the movie biopic. The bigger one is the product biopic movie, because we got a bunch of them coming out too. Tetris is probably the best of those. Don't get me wrong, but Tetris almost rises above them in what it is because it's more than about the product, right? Tetris falls almost in the line of like The Offer, in my opinion, but there is this, that one is where I would say there's an epidemic and a problem with biopics is that, but I get what you're saying. It's a totally different thing. You're talking about the fact that we already have a bunch of Rocky movies. This is just like a closer step to them just literally remaking Rocky. I totally get where you're coming from.
Closer. Exactly is a step. And that's what I don't want a remake of Rocky. I'm never going to accept it. I don't care how good of an actor you are. I'd rather have a world where this exists, but that's the problem with these things. They don't make it. And let's just say this is somehow good and it does well. It won't end there. It's just going to be, all right, well, no, everything gets to have a making of movie. And I think those are the type of things that, in my opinion, as far as a movie of it, rather than a side feature on a DVD, I don't want that to be the trend. I really don't want that to be the trend. I'd rather have more. I'd rather have 20 more K-pop Demon Hunters, because at least I know we're trying to get new audience. As much as I have not watched K-pop Demon Hunters, I'd rather have 20 more of that, because I know that's trying to bring in another audience and trying to expand the base of the movie-going audience rather than just relying on the same people over and over again. We got to expand our customer base, and we can't survive if we don't.
Yeah, and Hunter says, I imagine if they did a Wizard of Oz biopic, oh, that'd be amazing. That'd be a good one to fit in that too.
That could actually,
they technically kind of did.
Yeah,
they kind of technically did a couple of these already. They did, I think, one about Frank L. Baum that kind of leads into that, and then they did.
Guess who would play Judy Garland?
Who?
Oh God, I have no idea.
Rachel Ziegler.
Probably Rachel Ziegler. Yeah, I was just gonna say
don't do that to her. I know she's not the brightest lady.
There was the Carrie Fisher. There was the Carrie Fisher movie that was kind of about the making of Wizard of Oz, the Under the Rainbow one about the midgets. Yeah. But yeah, this is one that you would almost need a series for, because there was so much.
Oh yeah,
shit.
It was a shit show. It was a shit show.
Gone with the Wind, the same thing. Like,
I would like a making. If you're gonna do a making of movie, Waterworld, because of the shit that they went through to get Waterworld made.
You're not wrong there, Nick.
Shit.
See, this is where I think Paramount, if they were smart, they would run with this like a series, right? Like each season is just going to be a different movie. Who gives a shit? And you just bring back the people that you had before. Like if you make another thing with Francis Ford Coppola, then you just bring back what's his face who played him in The Offer. I forget his name, but he's amazing in it, and I forget his damn name now. He's in the Fanboys movie and some other shit. Damn it, what's his name? Fogel, something like Dan Fogel, I think it is. If not, I'm misremembering him with somebody else. But either way, you get those guys that played it in that, and you just kind of spread them out through the cast. Because I even said it'd be interesting to see. Like, I know you don't want to see Star Wars 6, but I mean, we know George Lucas and Francis were very close, so you could have spun it off there. The same thing with like Steven Spielberg and Jaws and all that kind of stuff. And you know, Apocalypse Now screams for one, right? Like that movie was fucking chaos as fuck.
I could see that. That is actually
Francis Ford Coppola almost, deleted himself during that movie. Like Martin Sheen had a freaking heart attack at one point, I think. Like, yeah. All the shit that Brando did. And that's what I'm saying. You could have the same guy come back and play Brando, like it'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm. See, now you're spawning off things I think would work for a series of shows. You came up with a better idea. A series for like Paramount Plus or something, whoever it's, I don't care. But a series where you could do 45 minutes to an hour. Maybe sometimes it may necessitate the extra 10 or 15 minutes on these and have them be one-offs. I think that's a much grander idea.
And I agree with that. Like, I mean, maybe a movie like the Rocky one might work just fine as a movie, but I honestly would love to see it expanded into a series to where it is allowed to breathe. Because that's the beauty of the Offer, is it's based on the book Take the Cannoli, Leave the Gun, or Leave the Gun, Take the Cannolis. And it's such a broad book, and there's so much in the book that's not in the movie, but they were able to distill it down to a working, functional story. But you need like 10 episodes to tell that story. Because there's so much that goes into it to lead up to who the people are that are the main players and that got the movie made, to the chaos that ensued during the making of the movie, the shit with the mob, all that kind of crap, up to the release of the film. So, you know, including all the politics that were going on in the studio. And Jaws would be a fun one to see. I mean, I even have a short film that's kind of a satire on the making of Jaws. I don't know if I ever showed you that, Six. It's called Courage and Stupidity. And it's hilarious because it's basically, I think you get a kick out of it because it runs off this rumor that's kind of, I guess, been somewhat confirmed to not be such a rumor. But I guess Steven Spielberg showed the shark to George Lucas, and George wanted to see if it worked. And so they started fucking with it and they broke the shark. But there's another aspect to this, and this is how I know it's been confirmed now. There was a third person there, Martin Scorsese. And Martin confirmed this story.
Wow.
Because it was still chained up, so they were like doing the thing like he was going to make the mouth open or whatever, so they busted it. So what this little satirical biopic thing does, this little short film, it runs with the idea that George and Steven broke the shark, so now they got to figure out a way to make the movie work without the shark.
Thank goodness
the shark is not working.
Yeah.
And the guys they got playing like Richard Dreyfuss and stuff are great, and they're just like he's just all over the place, and like it's a funny little satirical. I'd show you guys a clip, but the first and only time I tried loading it up to YouTube, it got nailed right away. So I'm like, no, I'm never touching that again. But
yeah,
I'll hook you up with it. I got a copy of it.
Yeah, send it to me.
But yeah, it's harder to find. It's not an easy one to find, but it kind of reminds me of George Lucas in Love. I'm sure you've seen that one before.
What's it called?
George Lucas in Love.
No, the
other one's called Courage and Stupidity.
Courage and Stupidity. Okay.
Like I don't even think it's on YouTube. That's my point. But I think George Lucas in Love is. I mean, they're very similar in their kind of tone. Is what I got. George Lucas in Love is much more goofy, but I'm sure you've seen that one.
Probably. I don't like stuff that makes fun of George.
It's not making fun of George so much as it's like
making fun of George.
It's him in college.
You know how I am.
No, I know, but it's him in college, and it's just showing him how he gets all these ideas for Star Wars, right? Like through teachers, fellow students, other things like that. You know, like a teacher who talks like Yoda, for instance. Like, you know, just little things like that. So it's like this make believe version of how he came up with the shit for Star Wars. And I don't even want to ruin the twist at the end, of course, but like, yeah, it's kind of funny. It's just a goofy little satirical thing. It doesn't make fun of George. But one of the other bits at the end is something about Howard the Duck, of course.
Yeah.
That's the closest it kind of comes to it, other than it's more so just goofing on Star Wars. Like if you don't have a problem with Spaceballs, then you shouldn't have a problem with George Lucas in Love.
Oh, and then I just found a quote from Steven Spielberg, and he's talking about making Jaws. He says it was a time of great courage and great stupidity.
Yep.
So that's where
so when I think of Jaws, I think of courage and stupidity.
Yeah.
That's what he says. That's his first line in the Making of Jaws documentary. That's how many times I've seen that bastard. And that's where they got the title.
Yeah.
The shark blew up. Yeah, it did at the end. See, I'd love to see that because I want to even just see the argument between him and Peter Benchley about the end of the movie. Because that's a famous story too. Because Spielberg's like, we're going to blow the shark up. He's going to chew on the tank, and then Brody's going to shoot the tank. And Peter Benchley's like, you can't do that. A shark wouldn't do that. And he's arguing with Steven Spielberg. He's like, I don't care. I've got the audience for 2 hours. They are going to want to see that shark explode.
Yeah. Did Peter Benchley have any say or any pull as far as like any decision-making power?
I don't think any decision-making power, but I think Steven took him seriously as influence. Because we've got to remember where Steven was at this point in his career too.
Right.
Because Steven had only made like one movie and TV shows at this point. Jaws was the movie that put him on the map, right? Like, and it's funny, and this is why I think a making of Jaws would be interesting, because throughout the entire thing, kind of like with The Offer, because the whole thing with The Offer is that Paramount is doomed, right? And of course the irony of it is that The Godfather is the thing that's going to save the company, right? And it ends up saving the company. And it's kind of the same thing with Jaws, but it's more so with Steven Spielberg's career. Right, because everybody was talking, even headlines in the news, and everybody, even having interviewers coming up to him and asking him while he's making the movies, like, what do you say to the people that are saying that this movie is not only going to tank your career, but possibly cost Universal Studios $100 million or whatever, you know, at the time, I don't remember what it was, but you know, like tons and tons of money. And he's like, I can't think about that stuff or whatever. I just got to think about making this movie, you know? And that was the thing. It was like hundreds of days of bullshit that he went through. And a lot of it was just because shooting on the ocean is a pain in the ass. And it's like, if this movie wasn't going to work, Steven Spielberg would not be making movies to this day. He would have been gone. Because this movie was a huge disaster waiting to fucking happen. In all accounts, it should have been a disaster. It shouldn't have been the movie that it was, but for somehow they managed to pull out of it. Because if you read that novel is not the movie.
Right.
That movie is what they made it, and that's why that movie is so great, is because you had Milius and other people in the background, Gottlieb, rewriting this story, making these characters interesting, changing who the characters were, changing their relationships, making it more about the trio on the boat, right? Which it is a part of the book, but it's not the camaraderie and the relationship isn't there outside of the animosity between Brody and not Quint, but Richard Dreyfuss's character. God damn it. Just forgot his name. Matt Hooper. Like in the book, those two are constantly going at each other because Brody pretty much already suspects he slept with his wife, right? So that shit's gone in the movie. So their relationship is more sound. They give Quint something to do because Quint has less than nothing to do in the book until the shark attacks and he dies. Quint is just there, right? He doesn't do anything. But giving Quint like the USS Indianapolis and all this other bullshit, that is what made that movie what it was. It made Quint a bigger character than he really was in the grand scheme of things. So like that to me is what saved that movie, because if it wasn't for that third act or that last half of that film with those guys on that boat, then we didn't have a movie. Because before that, the movie is really just kind of haphazard until you get to that point. That's when it kind of comes together, in my opinion. But I love it. It's a perfect film. And it's because of how much of a chaos it was. But it's like, you came out with this. You know, I mean, it's basically like, you know, if the Beatles had made Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band with a banjo and a fucking rubber band. It's like, you managed to make that? Wow. That's the way Jaws feels to me. And on that note, let's see what you guys are saying in the super chats, because you guys are not talking. Or I'm by myself. Barry the Music Man says, having the worst birthday ever. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Barry. Rip Ace Frehley. Was lucky enough to spend time with him, every original member of Kiss. I know now feel my childhood is dead. Yeah, I talked to you this morning, and Bat Tom talked to you this morning. That's really sad news for you today, I'm sure. I know we were goofing on Kiss a little bit this morning, but I'm a huge fan myself, so I'm there, right there with you, brother. It's sad to see this happen, especially to somebody who wasn't as old as, you know, old enough yet to be kind of dying, is my point. I don't know how to say that. It's like, feels like he was too young. So yeah. Action Comms is 6. Have you heard about the stage play about the behind the scenes Dreyfuss Shaw rivalry that was performed by the sons of those two men? I heard about this. Have you?
She's not around.
Did she step away? Okay, well, we'll come back to this. Yeah, 6 said BRB. I just saw that now. Okay, well, I'll save that one for when she comes back. We do have another story here. One more before we go, which is in the title. And that is that, guess what, kids? Jared Leto is not a movie star.
Well, no, duh.
Newsflash.
Dude, I don't know where this concept came from that he was. At least I can see why people thought so with The Rock, even though that didn't translate. At the face value idea, before he got put in The Money Returns, he was huge in wrestling. Jared Leto was in a fairly successful band called 32nd of Mars, but he was not like this household name who can bring people around to things on his own name. The Rock, you could say, oh, he's going to be at SmackDown, and that would fill up an arena just on his own name. WWE just happened to be where he was working at. If Jared Leto did a Jared Leto set, he'd probably fill up a venue that would fill maybe 2,000 or 3,000 versus, let's just say, a venue of 10 to 20,000. He was never a draw. At least, once again, I could see the idea with The Rock, but Jared Leto never made sense at all. And yet they still insisted that that they could make it happen. And yeah, sometimes Hollywood succeeds in trying to make a star, but most of the time, the fans decide who's a star. Sorry, Captain Marvel, you don't get to be a star just because Hollywood wants you to be one. The audience does. And now we can apply that same logic to Jared Leto.
Yeah, Jared's been given a lot of chances.
Yeah, way too many. It's so weird how all the Tron movies have not done well when you think about it, too. This was never meant
That's
to be
not totally true. The
franchise.
second one actually did better than most people remember, but yeah.
But Tron, I don't see Tron as a franchise. I see in to me, it screams such a unique concept that it's a movie, maybe two, but it's not something that should be an ongoing series. Like they want every single thing to be now on the face of the earth, where everything needs to have a continuance.
Yeah, I mean, is Jared Leto good in supporting roles, those meaty, dramatic roles that he does? Yes. But motherfucker needs to stay away from franchise shit. He's too fucking weird, and I don't trust him anyway. And his Joker is the saddest thing to ever happen. Anyway, Six, you were laughing there. What do you think of Jared Leto?
I think that Jared Leto is delicious. He is so fun.
You want to join his cult, don't you?
I join it up, dude. I'm in it.
Oh shit.
He feels that way. That's fine, but he's not a draw. It doesn't change the fact that he's not a draw.
100%. And Nick, you said that he shit. What the hell did you say?
I was talking about how he's in his band 30 Seconds to Mars. Even they were never that big of a band. And if you made it just the Jared Leto show, like a solo show, it would not do that well. Or a tour.
Exactly.
It would not do that well.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And I think you said something about he shouldn't have been in Tron. I'm not I wouldn't even consider, I'm not an anti-Tron person, but it's not something I watch ever. So, but when people I respect say he should not be in Tron, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm down with that. That I don't see him. I didn't see him in the Tron trailer and think, oh yes, this movie's going to be fire. I love Jared Leto in 30 Seconds to Mars. I fucking love that band. I freaking love that band. And like I said, he's nice to look at. But as far as everything else, no, he's not a draw. No, he's not a big, he's not a movie star. He can't carry a film. I didn't like him as the Joker, but I just like to look at him. That's all.
So if Jared Leto is about to make whoopee with you and he says it's Morbin time,
yeah, will
that turn you on, or will that be a get the fuck out of here?
that will be, we're not going to spoon. Get out. Go out. There's the window.
Well, there is a limit to this with Jared Leto. Time is the limit.
Yeah, I think he's very physically attractive. I follow him on I think he has a YouTube channel or Instagram or something. I follow him on that's mildly amusing. But no, he's not. He's just kind of there. But I just think it's funny how all this talk that I've heard over the last several weeks or whatever, you guys all talking about Tron, and I just kind of sit there with my chin resting in the palm of my hand, and I just kind of, so.
I mean, I guess he is a good looking guy. I'm not going to deny that, right? He's always been a very pretty boy in that respect.
And I don't really like pretty boys, but I like this pretty boy.
Well, he has a very, I'm not, even as a guy, I can say that, yes, he looks like a very attractive man, right? He has very
gay
good looking features for a guy, right? I can't say, I can see him as a model, as an actor. Yeah, he's good in his weird queerdo roles, but he's no good for Tron.
He's about that and being good? I don't know, man.
I haven't seen Dallas Buyers Club. I can't speak to that, but everybody said he did a great job as a chick.
Oh God, that should tell you everything you need. If he has to be good as being a chick and he can't be good as a man in a movie, man.
Oh, he's good in some other films like Requiem for a Dream and some other ones like that. But the dude's a fucking freak. Okay, he's had more than enough allegations brought down on him at this point.
But has there been any merit to them?
No, they don't equal guilt. Six, you are correct. Okay. But when James Gunn of all people is calling your ass out, that should say something.
I do remember that.
And I am a James Gunn fan, and I'm saying that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, this guy's got some weirdness to him. He thinks he's Jesus.
No, he doesn't.
Well,
He kind of looks like Jesus. He could have played Jesus.
So does
I'm
Nick
glad he
Weiser.
didn't.
He kind of looks like Nick Weiser. You got a point.
Ugh, I don't
So
want
you
to
think
look
Nick
like him.
Weiser is six?
I'm going to set my eyes on fire and bury them if I could.
You do
compare
kind of
those
look
guys.
like him, though.
I do not. I'd rather
Yeah,
be
you kind
told.
of do.
I'd rather be told that I look like a fugly elf than to be told I look like Jared Leto.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it as an insult. I really
No,
didn't.
I'm
No,
telling you. I'd rather be
I-
say. I'd rather
I
be
wish
here.
I looked like
Nick,
Jared Leto.
You
Shit.
look like a fugly elf. I'd rather hear that 30, 100,000 times over than to hear being compared to Jared Leto once. I'm not joking either. I'm not
He is
30.
a.
I don't want to be compared to this man. Oh,
Why not?
Oh, the Wigger Joker. Oh, dude. He looks like that's the Joker who wears FUBU. Oh my fuck.
You don't want any beef.
I didn't like that.
I resented him for the longest time for doing this. Not
That version of Joker was like heroin chic.
I like David Ayer as a director, but this was probably one of his few fatal mistakes. Was this allowing this to take place?
Yeah, and I didn't hate the Suicide Squad, but this I did. I hated Jared Leto as a fucking Joker.
I mean, the 2016 Suicide Squad? Yeah.
Yes,
Hey, dude,
the worst.
I don't know what was worse, this or the hula hula girl dancing at the end of the movie.
What's sad is he wouldn't have been a bad casting choice had they not let him do this. This is what made it bad.
Yeah,
right? Like
you can't stand to watch him when you see him.
This is not the fucking Joker. This looks like a fucking idiot you'd see walking down the street in Chicago.
But don't blame him. You think he did the costume design?
I think he had some input on this. I do.
I don't know.
I'm
who
not sure.
did.
Six. I can't confirm that. I can't confirm that.
Okay.
I don't care who it was
that.
between Jared Leto or David Ayer. Maybe it was both. Maybe it was
Whoever
someone
made
else.
this choice.
Whoever made this choice, fuck you.
It's just an artistic choice, so I'm not going to string him up for this.
Man.
But the allegations, yes, there's merit, and you know that
is there actually though? Even I question if there was.
I think it was just this year that like a bunch of the girls got together and filed a.
Well,
I think
we'll
maybe
see. We actually need something to go through, like proof. But
yeah, so
I hate Jared Leto. Even here, I am saying he still needs proof. Still,
yeah,
and I can't stand that man. So hey, that's still important. You gotta prove someone it is. You know, you can still be a douche, but not be guilty of something.
Exactly. You can be a douche, but for somebody to accuse you of some evil crimes, that's not cool.
And maybe Script knows whether or not he had some input or not on the character. But I almost got to imagine he did, because I'm with you, Nick. Like David Ayers, for better or worse, doesn't seem like he would have made this bad of a choice. Something about this choice,
you know. We like to think that, but every now and then, even the people who we love the most are still capable of making a mistake or two. And this could be.
It's not even so much that I love him; it's just that. I mean, even in the Suicide Squad film that he made, I can see the better film that's in there, right? And I've seen his other work.
It probably
and I see him as
was.
a very competent director and a very, you know, in this case, and this is why I think Six, because who else would come up with this kind of a thing other than somebody like Jared Leto to think this would be fucking cool?
The Crow reboot, the most recent Crow.
And that's my thing, is this is what these idiot kids dress like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, the Crows, man.
That version was garbage.
There's only one
like
Eric Draven, and that's Brandon Lee. That's it. Done.
You know what chaps my ass most about that is that Crow movie probably made more money than in a lot of the other Crow movies, if not all of them.
Because of the deals that it had.
Yeah. And it was nothing. That movie cost nothing to make, and you can see it in the production. It was nothing.
It's almost like they knew
the most expensive thing. The most expensive thing was what's his face, I bet. The star, Skarsgård.
Oh yeah, there's like 900 of them. We'll just say the Skarsgård guy.
The one that's in there, the one that's
the one that's in the movie. That's good enough.
And I think he plays Nosferatu as well, doesn't he? This is the same Skarsgård kid, right?
Oh, I don't know. I never looked into it.
I think it is. Or am I wrong? Somebody correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, please.
You've been fact checked. by the
But I mean,
God.
in this case, even with the Joker 2, he's still a worse Joker than the Joker in Joker 2.
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh,
And it's all
wait.
because of this shit. I'm sorry, this is not the Joker. This is like Kanye West thinking he's the Joker. Even Kanye West is smart enough.
That was amazing. Kanye West thinking he's the Joker. Wow.
This would be like Kanye coming out tomorrow dressed like this and go, yeah, I'm the Joker.
Wow. Even Owen Wilson's wow can be wowed by that. Wow.
But you can see Kanye doing it.
Oh yeah. Wow.
He's like, I am the Joker now. This is my new phase. Why so fucking serious?
What's fucking serious?
Swearing.
That's good.
Yes.
Thank you, Tom,
indeed.
for that.
Shit. So yeah, Jared Leto is not a movie star. I think his days of leading big movies are over. He better hope Masters of the Universe.
Did they ever arrive?
No. That's not true. There was a hot minute when Jared Leto was pretty hot. We forget that he was a child star. He did have his band. They did have at least one hit.
Band, but we're talking about movies.
Yeah, but you never underestimate the reach that a band has, though, Nick. That's one thing.
I'm not talking about his band. We all know his band did fairly well. No one's ever.
Yeah, but his band is where I think a lot of his cult followers come from. Is my point.
And yet there's still not enough to make him a movie star.
6, you were saying?
That's where we came from. The band.
6 is one of them.
Yeah, but when
have you been to the island?
From movies,
I flew over it.
That's
flew over it. Oh, okay.
Do you think this whole thing, the Hollywood Reporter article going like quote unquote against Jared Leto, do you think it has anything to do with the accusations? I know they mentioned it in the article.
Not to use that. I think it's time's up. Yeah. I said not to use that term, but ironically, but yes.
But more so than, the failure of Tron, I just wonder. Because I don't know if I agree that Tron's failure was because of Jared Leto.
No. And that's only part of it. I agree with you, 6, that it's a movie that's too little too late. It isn't an actual sequel to the last movie, and Tron just doesn't have the following it used to, even though Tron Legacy did better in theaters than most people remember. I just don't think it didn't have the cultural impact that on this next generation that it had on our generation, and it just isn't something. But at the same time, putting Jared Leto with it is almost like adding like arsenic to poison that's already been poisoned. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, why are you just making double poison at this point?
Like polishing a turd.
Polishing a turd, that's probably a better way of putting it. But I mean, it's like you already have one thing that's like a polluted, toxic thing that nobody wants in Jared Leto, and then you have.
I want to know what the demographic is. Did my fellow cult members show up for Tron?
I don't know
what I mean?
Maybe they're the only ones who did. I mean, I know a few people who saw it who enjoyed it, and then I know a few Tron fans who went, but I don't know that many Tron. And I think a lot of people are fans of the idea of Tron more so than they are fans of Tron.
That's what I would call myself. I'm a fan of the idea of Tron. Because I tend to be, I consider them my my colleagues, people who are fans of Tron from back in the day. I say, yes, I feel you.
Yeah, I think that's the point. I think that Nick kind of put it best. Had he ever? No, I don't think Jared Leto's ever been a major movie star. He was a big teen pop idol. I will give him that. And he had enough of the royal jelly, as Paul Chatto likes to put it.
What's that? The royal jelly. That sounds really like, what? Did he like sip on mango or something?
Pearl necklace made out of Leto jelly.
He had a pearl necklace made out of mango.
I thought
that she came from Frosted Flakes.
But yeah, no, like to go back on what 6 was saying though too, is I think between the allegations, between the bullshit type stuff that you have going on in the behind the scenes with like Suicide Squad that was confirmed by many others, which that kind of stuff carries over in a lot of his films from what I hear. So on that case, between that and all the accusations, the stuff that's been following for years with him and the underage girls, I think all these things have come to a head to where that's what I was getting at with Masters of the Universe, where I'm like, I think he better hope Masters of the Universe is good and he gets some praise out of it, because otherwise I think his days doing studio type pictures are done. I think he's going to only be delegated now to like the Requiem for Dreams and the Dallas Buyer Club type movies. So yeah, I think we'll have to wait and see on that part, but I just don't think he's going to be headlining too many more films going forward.
Our world will be so much better for it.
But Morbius is glorious. I don't care what anybody says.
That's a good movie.
Yeah. It rhymes.
Fight me. No, don't.
It's good at how bad it is.
I'll
Yes.
let you punch the air.
It's
sit
one of those-
this one out.
It's one of those fun, stupid movies. It's okay
That's
to
what I
like
mean.
fun, stupid movies. They're not hurting
It is.
anybody.
That's what I mean. It's like, it is clearly, it was one of the best, worst movies ever. In fact, it gets up there right near The Room. And it is so bad that it's so entertaining.
I mean, I love Twilight. Of course, I'm going to be a Jared Leto fan.
It's entertainingly bad. I
He was
totally
I
get it.
can't wait for a man to sneak in my window and stand there and watch me sleep.
Oh,
That's not
man.
creepy as long as it's Jared Leto, right?
That's what I learned from Twilight.
Didn't he play a vampire once already? I'm trying to remember. Before Morbin time.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. For some reason. Maybe in some alternate universe he plays the Tom Cruise role in Interview with
Ooh,
Action Com.
don't take that movie with his name in the same sentence.
No, I'm kidding.
That movie. is awesome.
Action Com had a question for you, Six, when you stepped away. He wanted to know if you'd heard of the stage play about the behind the scenes rift between Dreyfuss and Shaw. Have you seen that? Then the two sons actually play them.
I have not seen it, Action Com. I've heard Tom talk about it. I think when you did like a Jaws retrospective or some day that ends in Y, you were talking about Jaws on this channel, and I remember you mentioning it. I learned about it from you. But yeah, thanks for the reminder. I want to find that. See if
it looks interesting.
A videotape of it.
Yes, that would be cool. That's the like one of the things that I think is missing from like the last, because they did a really good job with the Back to the Future box set that they just brought out for the 40th anniversary. You get a whole disc of new features, not just one new documentary like with Jaws. I think it would have been cool to have them do like videotape this and put that on the disc. That'd have been awesome. And even through Courage and Stupidity and stuff on there, that'd have been great. But thank you, Action Com, for the heads up on that. And yeah, if you ever find that, Six, let me know. Hunter DeVork says, actually saving Disney miniseries covering Disney's return, big comeback in the late 80s and 90s. And there's a lot to unpack there. Oh, I should check that out. Is that on Disney Plus or is that something completely unrelated? You don't have to send another super chat. Just let me know. Then Goddess of Whim sends in another 5. Thank you so much. Our gorgeous Goddess of Whim with the wrench says Jared Leto was barely relevant in My So-Called Life. That's right. That was his big thing on TV. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah,
in the 90s. None of my girlfriends had his picture on their walls. He's a loser. In the words of Jim Carrey. And then I'm also jealous of the guys who pulled the interview with Chuck Russell, because I tried like desperate as hell to get an interview with him back in the day, and they got some great write-ups on that. But yeah, we got to get rolling here. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, Chuck Russell is the director of Nightmare on Elm Street 3. He said he'd love to return to the franchise, and in fact, he thinks that Jim Carrey would make a great Freddy. Because for those who don't know, he also directed The Mask with Jim. So they have a relationship already. So that being said, I was pissed. No, the other one.
Oh.
With Jim Carrey. Not the one about the kid with the fucked up face. The other guy with the fucked up face. Yeah. Anyway, Nick's got to run, so I'm going to let him plug his business here. Go ahead, Nick.
All right. Here's my plugging business. Clobby's Comic Shop Saturday night. It's going to be huge. Toxic Tuesday. Talking Alien. Apologies. That came out of nowhere. And I'm Bonded by Metal channel as well. Go check that out. We've been banging out a lot of videos left, right, and center. So thanks for having me, Tom. Six. It was a good show. And you all have a magical evening. I hope to see some of you on TNT. Thank you very much, guys.
Bye, Nick.
TNT. Oi. 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 Anyway, the name of the play is The Shark is Broken.
I wrote it down. Thank you, Action Com.
Yes. And with that, I didn't see the thing about the documentary on Disney. So if you get a chance to catch that for me, let me know, or just send in a comment after the show. Sticks, anything you're going to have going on? You got another stream coming up at all?
Yes, I'm off this weekend, so I will be doing a live stream on my channel. Gonna have some topics to cover that were not covered this week by Tom, at least. And I'm curious, Tom, what are your Halloween streaming plans on this channel?
I'm hoping to get a new show up and running by then. Yeah. I'm slowly not working on that in the background. But if I get some updates, I'll let you know. I haven't heard back from Greg again about it, but I'll double check.
I've been trying. Yeah, I haven't heard back from Greg either. But that's okay.
Oh, you tried getting a hold of him?
I did. I freaking messaged him because I wanted to do a Halloween panel, and I'm having a hard time plugging.
Do you guys follow each other?
He wants to stream with me.
You guys follow each other, or?
I think
he's usually pretty good at answering messages if you know.
Before though.
Okay, I'll let him know that you messaged him. Maybe missed it.
So maybe I'll do a Halloween stream this weekend because it's my last weekend off before Halloween.
Ooh, when are you going to do that?
Probably like 3 a.m. Friday night or something.
You must be lonely. It's 3 a.m.
What?
You don't know the song?
No.
It's 3 a.m. I must be lonely.
Is that sung by Adam Sandler? Because that's who you sound like.
That's kind of the Adam Sandler version, but it's close. It's the guy from Matchbox 20, but yeah.
Oh, I like them.
Yeah. Find the song 3 a.m. Yeah.
But thanks for pointing out that I'm lonely. Appreciate it.
No, I didn't mean it like that. It's a song. Go listen to the song, Jesus. Actually, Tom says, Tom, what do you think of the movies that are nothing but stage performances like Bill Cosby himself or swimming in Cambodia? I love them. I think they're fine. They're concert movies. Stand-up comedy has been a lost art. We don't have any real great comedians anymore. I remember when we used to get Theatrical, we released comedy films like Eddie Murphy Raw and Bill Cosby himself and Martin Lawrence, You So Crazy. It's been a while since we had a good one.
What's Swimming to Cambodia?
That one I'm not too familiar with. It sounds familiar, though.
Sounds like a documentary about refugees.
I think it's just a one man talking or whatever, but yeah. Let me look it up quick. And then we'll get out of here.
We'll get on out of here. Yeah, so hopefully I'll do a live stream talking about some pop culture topics. And I'd like to talk about, but I'm not sure how YouTube's going to feel about me talking about the guy who used electricity on his, I'm trying to talk in code, on his dog. I kind of wanted to go into that a little bit.
Oh, dog. That's not where I thought that was going.
No. And then maybe a Halloween stream this weekend. So subscribe if you want to and set notifications because it's going to be like a 10-minute notice.
I'm almost curious now what the hell you're talking about because you never like animal abuse. So
no, I don't. And I want to. What's that?
Well, I mean, who does? But I mean, you really, okay, let me rephrase this. You actively get triggered by animal abuse. That's a better way of putting it. So yes, that's so I'm surprised you'd even talk about that or discuss that.
Well, it's been trending all over and I've seen some, I don't want to like get into it with people, but anyway.
I'll have to see what it's all about then. I have no idea what this is.
Wanted to cover.
Okay. And then Goddess Wim says, Waking Sleepy Beauty is the documentary you're looking for about the Disney Renaissance. Oh, well, thank you, Goddess Wim. I think I've heard of that now that you mentioned the name. And you didn't, I think I seen that earlier in the chat, but thank you so much for sending in the donation. I appreciate that. That helps keep the lights on here, Goddess. You guys have no idea how much you help. But okay, so this is Swimming to Cambodia.
In February of 1983,
okay, I vaguely
met
remember this
incredible British documentary filmmaker, Roland Jaffe. Very intense man. A combination of Zorro Jesus and Rasputin. And he'd been sent over by David Putnam, who was producing a film called The Killing Fields, and he'd sent over to cast for actors. And he was seeing people, and he was burning. He was doing all the talking. I was listening for 45 minutes. He talked. He burned with his story. I listened. 45 minutes. He told me about the story of the film. It was about a New York Times reporter, Sidney Schanberg, who was covering the American secret bombing of Cambodia for the New York Times.
Okay, yeah, I think I remember this now. I have no problem with these kind of movies. I think they're fine.
Was that a comedy?
No, I don't think it's meant to be a comedy. I think this is more of a serious story, if I remember right. Like, and to me, I have no issues with those. They're like one-man shows or whatever you want to call it. But I'm different. Like, I can watch stuff like that and be entertained, especially if somebody's interesting to listen to. Like, I can sit there and listen to him talk all day. So, I mean, that guy, he seems interesting. I could watch that. I think I kind of vaguely am aware of that. So, yeah. Yeah, no, I like things like that. And it's YouTube has kind of taken the thunder out of a lot of that and probably some streaming, but it's so easy to do that for YouTube. In fact, George the Giant Slayer did a great kind of version of one of those recently on the Funeral of Woke. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out. It's very interesting. And he does a very similar kind of one-man show kind of thing. I think George the Giant Slayer. Yeah. I think you dig it.
He does great stuff.
Yeah, he's one of those guys I can sit there and listen to talk all day.
Yeah.
So so check that out if you guys haven't yet. I know he put a lot of work into that and he hadn't got the attention he had wanted to, and he was really, he felt bad about that. But hey, check it out, and if more people discover it, more the better. Check out the documentary.
Were you aware of the YouTube when YouTube stopped working? Was that yesterday? For like 45 minutes or an hour?
No, because I've been away from the YouTubes.
Oh God, it was terrible. I didn't know what to do. I was like, I have nothing to listen to. I was so lost. Man. And that's why physical media is king.
It is king.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, Six, because the other day, remember when I was on the show with my phone because I didn't have internet all day. I didn't have internet till like 4 p.m.
That sucks.
Yeah. So like there's another day of like, well, especially when Gabby's fucking dollhouse isn't playing. You gotta deal with that shit. It's like, how about Moana? Moana works, so yeah, there you go.
You're watching
those who
Moana?
Don't know, I had to appease a 2-year-old. Yeah, we had to find something because there was no streaming. So yeah, try and tell a 2-year-old that there's no streaming and get him to understand the internet's not working. It doesn't work. So you got to find a pacifier, and Moana worked. So yeah, but in that case, yeah. So with that, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. We appreciate your time. Thank you, Six, for all your help and all the mods like Goddess and D-Bud and everybody in the chat. I'm trying to remember who else. Mecha J was there. Was Tickle Chunk here on there? Dale Brewer's here. I know I saw D-Bud, like I said. I don't want to miss anybody, but thank you so much for your work, guys. You guys do a lot of work for us, and you help us out here. And for all the donators and the members, you guys are great. I'm going to be trying to do some more member stuff, even if Andre isn't able to as much. So keep that in mind, guys. Keep listening in for that. Even if it's just a little one-on-one sessions, I'm going to try and do a little bit more for you guys.
One-on-one?
Like when we do our normal things, but it's just going to be me instead of just Andre and me.
Like a Tom and Terry type.
Kind of, but just with the members. Yeah, listen to me bitch about everything. We'll see. I'll try to work that out.
Weight off my shoulders.
yeah, because you guys don't know. Six has your back big time, members, because she's constantly reminding Andre and I when the last time we had done anything, and it's like, you're right, and we can't argue. But real life takes its toll, and hopefully things have started to settle down for Andre a little bit, and things will get a little more smoother. So yeah, one-on-one does sound a little gay. You're right. So with that note, take care of yourselves and each other. Anything else, Six?
Nope. Morning show tomorrow.
Morning show in the morning.
At 10 a.m. Eastern.
Morning. That's right. Take care of yourself, guys.